My brother refuses to act like an adult, so I force him to be one.
Wah, wah.
I will force you. My brothers are all pigs. We had a very traditional house where girls cleaned and washed the dishes from the time we were old enough to walk and stand on chairs. And my brothers never did anything. By the way, this comes from Throwaway Hand Shot First. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OK Storytime. Now, as adults, they cannot even turn on a washer. I very much resent how I felt like I had to raise my own father and how holidays and weekends were always spent with my brothers and dads playing around while we did all the cleaning. Even at Christmas, they got to play with their toys and we went into the kitchen. I do not care about excuses like, I was never taught. We're all adults now and they can YouTube and Google what they don't know. I learned how to patch walls, change tire, change oil, etc. All the gendered stuff I was never taught, so I don't see why he can't learn as well. My brother got put out by his girlfriend after they had their first kid because he does not help with anything. Since staying with me, I have forced him to do stuff. When he first moved in, my house went from my tidy, clean utopia to a disgusting mess. He would spit sunflower seeds on the floor. He hid his food in dirty laundries around the house. He would spit chewed gum behind the coffee machine, feet from the trash can, hide snack food everywhere, smoke on the toilet, put cigs out on my floor, which is a slap in the face as I asked him to not smoke inside because I don't smoke. Period. He would leave his dirty clothes everywhere, even on the living room floor, etc. Even when he ordered food for himself, he would eat at the table, then leave it for me to put away for him. Anytime he took anything out of the fridge, he would leave it on the table and often leave the fridge open. I am not joking. I found maggots 3 times from his mess. I lost it, and I told him to change his behavior completely or to get out. Well, he started doing stuff, but as badly as he could. He would put bowls in the dishwasher so they would be filled with nasty water. Mop with the same water for days on end, leaving it smelling of rot. Do his laundry by putting it in the washer, leaving it for me to finish, and putting food away by throwing it all over the fridge, spilling food everywhere. The best was when he put syrup away upside down on the top shelf with no lid on, coating my entire fridge in syrup that took hours to clean. Then he would say, I am trying, you are just being a bee. I lost my temper and I know I couldn't leave him on the street, so I divided the house. The cabinet doors all have locks from the previous owners, so I got him dishes from Goodwill and forbade him from using any of my dishes. He is eating off of his filthy dishes now. I made it very clear that anything left on the floors, clothing, etc. gets a 1-day grace period, and then it will be thrown away. The same goes for the few dishes he has, as he would leave them in the sink until they started to grow mold. I started locking my bathroom door, and he has to use the one in the basement, which I refuse to clean. If his clothes are on the washer for more than 8 hours and I need to use it, I dump them wet on his bed. Any trash he leaves lying around goes on his bed. If he orders food and gets up and he leaves his leftovers, I leave them to rot and then throw them away. Though twice the idiot left food out overnight and came out and started angrily eating it while glaring at me. Both times the idiot got food sickness.
Shocked. Wow. Color me shocked.
Dude. Oh, I'm so mad at you. You didn't take my to-go box and put it in the fridge for me. Okay, I do be sometimes leaving those out. But still, okay. So he destroyed my fridge again, putting juice upside down with the lid barely on. I mopped it up with towels, dumped the towels and all my ruined food on his bed. Then put a lock on the fridge. He hates me and says I'm terrorizing him. I say I was forced to mother him as a child, but was never given the parental control to actually teach him how life works. Since my brothers used my childhood to treat me like I was a maid, I will no longer parent them. My view is some lessons have to be learned painfully. I will not gentle parent a grown man who cannot close a fridge door. Am I the a-hole? And there are some comments. Ages, whose house is it? Why haven't you punted him out already? OP, this is downvoted for some reason, says, I am 30. He is 33. This is my house. I guess my family is family. Just got beat into my head a lot. Another commenter said, suggestion, put a time limit on his time with you. Either he starts actually working towards a solution and away from weaponized incompetence that he's engaged with the juice and syrup, or he gets moved out. Is he paying for rent or food, utilities? I assume that you'd be fine without any of his additions towards these because you seemed okay before you invited him to disturb your peace. OP says he isn't paying anything because he lost his job during the vid and he says that he cannot find work. I was letting that go because I was making really good money and did don't need any of it from him, but he needs to contribute something and he is not. I think I will figure out a timeline and tell him that he has to do better or go. I am sure he can find some other woman to raise him. That is his usual move when his girlfriend puts him out. Why she puts up with it, I don't know, but I can't say anything because I do too. And there is an update literally later that day. I could not believe my eyes when I opened up Reddit and saw the number of notifications. Wow. So just to update everyone, things came to a head today. I had to work the early shift and had a session with my table tonight at 6. I was DMing a few DMD gamers. I begged my brother to keep the living room clean. I came home and the house was more trashed. I mean, it looked like a bomb went off. He even dropped a cup of milk on the floor and left it.
Oh, that's like the most rancid smell ever.
He left it.
Left milk is, ugh.
So I flung the whole milk jug at his head and screamed at him to GTFO. He tried to bulk up on me and I lost it, screaming, "Get out," over and over and over. I cleaned up the milk, then jumped online to message everyone to cancel and saw these 700 plus notifications. Y'all gave me some really good advice and I knew reading those replies last night that this was over. I was going to give him a few weeks, but seeing that milk all across my new floor was the last straw. I don't know where he's going. I don't care. Thank you all. I love Reddit people. End of update. Quick gut check. Do we agree?
Should we throw milk at people? No. Even when we're mad, even when we're crying over said milk that is spilt. But there is a breaking point for every man, woman, and child, and I think this milk spiller definitely pushed OP past the breaking point. We've had this a couple times this stream. I think justified a whole like you're pushed, and also like it is a completely reasonable thing to want someone out of your place.
Yeah, I think specifically on kicking him out like that day. I think like she offered her home, didn't have to. He terrorized her in her own home with his messiness. And it's like, once you do something like that, your repercussions have actions. Hey, if you want to literally destroy my house, you've destroyed your chances of staying here. Commenter says, really, why are you doing this? I absolutely do not have sympathy for you. You really can't be that dumb. Opie says, joke's on you. I really can be. Lol. No, I think growing up how I did, my family was just pushed into my head, and all the old ladies used to say that men couldn't help it. In my church, if you yelled at a man for any of this, you would be viewed as insane. Regardless, check my update. He is gone. Now, commenter says, it seems like he actively hates her, right? It's the syrup in the fridge that would have sent me over the edge. What a pain in the butt to clean. Opie said it was horrific to clean because I was gone for 3 days, and by the time I got back, it was like molasses. I ended up having to shove all of the fridge drawers in my bathtub and scrub them all. I was bawling. I was so upset. Commenter responds, I would be willing to bet so much money that he listens to Andrew Tate and Joe Rogan and thinks that men and women should stick to strict gender roles, which men are always conveniently exempt from holding up their part of. Your brother is a piece of crap. Opie says he adores Ben Shapiro and Tate, but thinks that Joe Rogan is a little bee that needs to pick a side. He's also super into Nick Fuentes too, however you say his name. His favorite one is the guy that got in trouble for screaming at his pregnant wife. I can't remember his name. That's his favorite?
Is it Charlie Kirk? I feel like I remember hearing that.
Yeah. It's a Fox News guy.
Or
it's a Fox News guy.
Is it Fox News? Or maybe, is it Tucker Carlson?
Yeah.
Is it Tucker Carlson?
I think it's Tucker Carlson. Another commenter said she was conditioned as a young child to accept crappy behavior from men. Even putting in this boundary is likely a big step for her. Of course, I hope she takes from this thread that he's abhorrent and she doesn't need to accept this behavior, though I get why she thinks that she can't just punch him out, even though she can and she should. Opie says this is 100% it. In my church, if you complain about men not cleaning, people would think you're insane. I posted this 10,000% thinking that I would get roasted for being a bee. Lol. And the commenter responds, I'm so sorry. Honestly, that sounds like a really toxic culture. I would try to find a more left-leaning church, but I understand that might not be possible in your area. Opie says I left the church in the area. I'm way lived up now, lol. And when he called me needing a place to go, I think I regressed a lot. But we have another update 4 days later. Hello, everyone. I considered leaving the situation with my brother at the original post, but this post is blown up. It's being covered outside Reddit, so I figured I should tell you guys what has happened. To start, I know a lot of people seemed incredibly perplexed I even allow this. To this, all I can really reply is that I grew up in a very toxic environment. They are Mormons and not the modern kind. When I was a kid, I was not allowed to wear pants. My childhood, if you asked a man to clean, you You would be looked at like you were insane, and if you got mad at a man being messy, it would even be implied that you could possibly be corrupted spiritually for attacking the original design. Obviously, after I left the church, I understood that things are different, but I'm not as healed as I thought. I obviously need a lot more therapy. I also got a few posts asking why I didn't include that I am autistic in my post. This is because it's just not relevant here. The actual update, my brother is missing in action. For anyone who missed it, the day after the post, I came home to a trash house. A glass of milk spilled all over the floor that had obviously been there for a while. I lost it on him, lugged the milk jug at his head, thankfully missing, and screamed at him over and over to get out. He tried to square up to me, but I screamed so loud it was hard to talk the next day. I think he got the hint then. Almost ripped my door in two doing it. I had to replace the hinge. I knew some people wanted me to sue him, but during this whole situation, I was confronted with a health scare, just some weird looking moles, but I was still worried. So I did not want to deal with that. He left, get this, and went to the house of his 19-year-old girlfriend. Apparently, he met this girl when she went to the bar for her 18th birthday. I had no idea this was going on, but all of my brothers did. To recap, he had a baby with his girlfriend of 8 years this month. And the editor's note, this girlfriend of 8 years is different than the 19-year-old girlfriend currently. I told them all to F off when my mom messaged me crying because no one knows where your brother is. He just left with some girl. I told her I do not care. I did. Call me crazy. Messaged the girl to tell her he is bad news, but she called me a crazy punt and blocked me. I also messaged the girl's mom, who seems worried, but basically said she cannot do anything because her daughter is of legal age. I guess they took off and skipped town and will not tell anyone where they are. Outside of worry for this girl, I don't really care. I am too busy chilling with my ex and my wonderful niece. I am going to take care of my health and focus on my life. So this next update is 8 days later. To catch you up, my brother's a pig. He destroyed my home. This led to me figure out my whole family kind of stinks, and he ended up leaving with his barely legal girlfriend, leaving his newborn baby and his ex, whom he was cheating on. He was cheating on him. Okay, there you go. Well, after all of this, I have not talked to anyone in my family at all, but kept in contact with his ex and have been spending a lot of time with the baby. I never liked his ex. She was with him for a reason. I think the only reason they lasted for years instead of my brother's usual couple of weeks or months before the girl runs screaming is because she is, in a lot of ways, like him.
Two peas in a pod.
There it is.
Two cloths cut from the same larger cloth.
And they spilled that cup and it's all over the floor and he's not going to clean it.
Ooh.
Now, even knowing all that, I kept in contact like a dummy because I felt so awful over the kid being left, the baby. I secretly think they're doomed because of their goofy parents. I know how horrible it is to think that. I wanted to be a positive force in the kid, the new baby's life. Well, my brother found out somehow that I've been around the kid and somehow got my new number, which totally perplexes me because no one in my family has it. He called me and cried that he doesn't want me around the kid because I will never do to this child what I did to him. And that left me confused because when he left, he declared his ex must have cheated and the child wasn't his. They clearly are. So why is he saying his child? And I have never done anything to him. I was made to be his mom, which is crazy also because he's older, but never even given the authority to correct him. So I spent my life chasing after him, cleaning up his mistakes, whilst he tormented me and treated me so horribly. I ended up literally medically diagnosed with PTSD. I asked him what I did to him, and he said I always judged him, and even when he was a kid, I looked at him with judgment.
But you're so judgeable.
Yeah, why you have so many judgeable... You allege to store juice and syrup upside down without a cap.
That should be judged. You know...
What are we supposed to do with that?
We're supposed to judge. That's what we're supposed to do.
We say, hey...
Don't do that.
Don't do that because you're
Are you a silly
syrup.
Billy? I don't want to use language like that, but
yeah, that's a little bit much, Sam. Honestly, that's
yeah, you know,
that's
but you're really pushing me to my edge. You're cutting me to my quick. You're gooning me like no other.
So I hung up on him right there because lol, I judged him. No, duh. I could fill books and books with all the bad choices he has made and all of the horrible things that he's also done to others. From the time he could talk, it seemed like all he cared about was hurting others and offending others, and he has never been actually punished for anything. I was the only one who judged him, and after his actions, he rightfully should be in jail. If the worst thing he suffered was his judgment, I mean, lol. I have suffered way worse, often at the hands or because of his choices. Cold truth is if it wasn't for my judgment and care, he would be gone from an OD about 1 billion times over.
Dude, the judgment kept him on the straight and narrow.
Come on.
You're welcome. I saved your life.
Saved you.
I think you owe me. You owe me a life debt.
Dude, he owes it.
You are mine.
Come on. He would have called the wrong person a slur and found out the hard way. The only thing that kept him alive was me trailing after him, fixing mess after mess. He's more tightly wound than someone's hoodie.
Honestly,
I don't even know.
This man needs to be tied up. He needs to be put in a straitjacket.
And you know what? OP needs to get untangled from the brother.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about that for a second.
It's too much. It's too much. There needs to be boundaries.
But he apparently talked to his ex, and she has blocked me and told me that I'm never allowed to mess up their child like I messed up him. I do not need anyone to tell me she is appealing to my brother to try and win him back, and that this is two deeply broken, messed up people blaming their shortcomings on me because it's easier than looking in a mirror. I know. By the way, if you've looked into a mirror today and said, hey, I'm slumped over. I have a hoodie wrapped around me so
Maybe
tightly.
You're cozy.
I'm too cozy even, but I need content to keep me going. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, search OK Storytime, 2,000 podcast episodes. Don't know what else to tell you.
John, how many episodes is that?
That is more episodes than hair on your pretty little head.
I hope not.
Anyways, Opie says, I felt something snap in me, and it was like all my care, anxiety, and worry drained out of my body. I don't care about this anymore. I don't care about this anymore, or any of them. I changed my number again, limited my contact list even more, and when I can, I am moving. I will not be providing any more updates on him or my family because I do not care about these people anymore. I do not plan to have contact again. Thank you for all the help. And there were some comments. Did X give brother OP's number? She actually didn't have my number. I figured she would give him my number. So whenever I changed it, I told her I lost my phone and couldn't replace it immediately. I take an iPad to school, so she was just calling me on my Facebook Messenger. So everyone keeps saying that she was the one to give my number. She didn't have it.
And that is all that was written.
That was all that was written, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow.
Wow.
Family man, you can't live with them.
And that's it. You just can't live with them.
Yeah, I can't live with them.
How you doing over there, Sam?
There's a time in every man's life. The world just beats him down and then beats him off.
Oh, God.
And I'm right between those two.
Oh, God, he's giving options. This is premium service.